For any brand to survive, it has to grow. And the absolute baseline reality of market growth is that it is driven almost entirely by penetration, specifically the continuous act of acquiring new buyers. But there is a strict mechanical limitation to this process. You cannot recruit a buyer you never talk to. Growth requires reach, which simply means maximizing the sheer volume of category buyers exposed to your marketing. This data visualization shows exactly how punishing the math gets when you abandon why reach. If the audience funnel is cut down to 40%, you immediately need an extra 50% increase in response rate to maintain flat sales. If you slice reach to 10%, the sales projection collapses. Yet marketers frequently ignore this mathematical reality in favor of volume metrics like share of spend, assuming a large budget automatically equals effective distribution. This creates a predictable trap. Brands with smaller budgets panic. They assume they can't afford broad reach, trading it for engagement, funneling money into high-cost niche channels that severely limit their overall exposure. Trading wide reach for deep engagement starves the brand of the exact resource it needs to survive. The math is clear. You need a steady influx of light, infrequent buyers, and those buyers require broad visibility. Beyond the size of the audience, the mechanics of scheduling media are clouded by persistent industry myths. The most common is the assumption that a consumer must see an advertisement at least 3 times before they can successfully process it. Single-source data tracking real-world buying behavior reveals that the greatest sales lift happens immediately after a person's first exposure to an ad. Because every subsequent viewing within a short window offers a smaller and smaller marginal return, paying for rapid repetition against the same audience is a recipe for a wasted budget. This leads directly to a second scheduling myth: the compulsion to mirror a competitor's massive burst campaign, matching their short, heavy ad spend dollar for dollar. Burst campaigns are inherently flawed. They do deliver short-term reach, but they achieve it by repeatedly hitting the exact same heavy media users. Because the campaign is brief, it completely misses the category buyers who enter the market in the weeks and months after the burst ends. When Apple launched the iPod, they did not rely on a flash-in-the-pan burst. They deployed a steady media spend that actually increased quarter over quarter. They maintained an on-air presence over the long term, catching buyers exactly when they were ready to purchase. Continuous, spaced-out exposure allows people to forget and re-remember your brand. It catches a wider array of buyers as they naturally cycle into the market, proving far more valuable than clustered repetition. Shifting away from when to buy media, we run into severe misconceptions about who to target. Myth 3 is the belief that effective advertising must force the audience to work, to click, decode, or actively interact with the brand. This creates a massive audience mismatch. Your most valuable demographic for growth, light buyers, and people who have never purchased your brand, have zero motivation to solve a complex brand puzzle or jump through engagement hoops. By building high engagement hurdles, you filter out everyone except your heaviest existing brand buyers. You end up paying a premium media rate simply to preach to the already converted. Which brings us to the fourth myth: targeting tiny, niche media platforms to capture highly specialized, exclusive audiences. This scatter plot maps the double jeopardy law. Massive platforms command the largest audiences, who interact far more frequently. Niche platforms suffer twice. They have tiny, infrequent audiences. Crucially, those niche users are almost entirely encapsulating within the massive platform's audience. Buying ad space on a small, niche platform alongside a mass platform rarely yields fresh eyes. It simply buys duplicated frequency against the same heavy media users you already reached. The objective of an optimized media plan is specific. You want to maximize unduplicated reach across the population while keeping overlap to an absolute minimum. Step 1 in architecting this media cocktail is anchoring your budget in the single largest reach medium you can afford. Secure your baseline audience before looking elsewhere. This diagram demonstrates step 2. These intersecting circles represent 2 similar platforms, like 2 social networks. Adding a second medium is only mathematically justified if it delivers more new viewers than duplicated ones. Here, the overlap glows red because audience duplication is incredibly high. To fix this, cross-media duplication analysis points to a simple tactical solution. You have to mix completely different media families, like pairing a digital social feed with a physical in-store display. The overlap shrinks, and the total unique surface area vastly expands. Intentional cross-family mixing is the proven method to efficiently scale your market share. It ensures your budget acquires fresh eyes instead of bleeding out on excess frequency. Sustainable brand growth requires stepping away from the myths of deep engagement and concentrated repetition. The scientific reality of the market is straightforward. Brands expand by maintaining a continuous, unduplicated presence across the broadest possible audience.